so-called flying saucers.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the SA. It's rotating.
Kill the stigma here. So I was looking at the whole thing with Hilary Clinton and disclosure, and it's funny because, you know, people say that she was going to be the president to disclose.
Mr. Burleson has a few questions for you.
So I'm going to begin with some lighthearted, different questions, and you're welcome to ignore them or if you want to. But while I have you here, I just have to ask. So when your husband was president, it was Lawrence Rockefeller had an effort to try to disclose UFOs, UAPs. When you were running for president, John Podesta publicly stated that you would disclose these files if given the chance, if you had been president. Are you pleased to see that these files may be disclosed finally?
I am pleased. As I say, I think they have to be carefully scrutinized so that no national security information is disclosed. But this is an issue of real importance to so many people, and I think whatever can be disclosed should be disclosed.
Was there a program that specifically that was referencing that you were aware of?
I was not. As you mentioned, John Podesta, who was one of my advisors, was deeply interested in the issue, and if I had been elected, I certainly would have listened to his advice.
It's always interesting when they say national security, and she was saying that, right? And there's that excuse of national security, and then there's the legit national security, and people are like, why? Just show us the bodies, show us the aliens. Yes, I agree, but I also think that's a big part of weaponization, the bodies, like, you know, androids with freaking telepathic MK Ultra kind of stuff. God knows what those things, what you can learn from that, you know. And you know that the United States, it's good, like, come on, they're gonna weaponize it because that's how we do it. We that's how we roll. Like, they just, the better of humanity or weaponize it. It's like almost like a no-brainer for these people, right? And if you're also in the military, honestly, a lot of people get mad about the threat narrative. I don't get mad about the threat narrative because I understand people that are in the military, like, you know, say Lou Elizondo or Christopher Mellon. These people, like, they are wired like that. It's not, that's their job. And then you have other people like Stephen Greer, which is like, oh, this is, they would have killed us already or whatever, wiped us off the planet. But then you also have people like, in my case, where I was a total skeptic. There's a episode that I did a little bit of my story. It's the most viewed one. It's very brief. I don't go that much into personal stuff because it gets really weird and dark and kind of crazy, and it's very personal, right? But I wasn't the experiencer. I was you know, I wasn't really married, but I still say she was my wife because we were together for 10 years and we had two kids. So she was the experiencer, and I thought she was insane for the longest time. And it's interesting because as soon as I took her to the shrink said, she's not schizophrenic and she's got a symptom of it, we'll figure it out. And that's when shit, literally that day, I started seeing the stuff she was talking about. Never experienced the darkness myself, some strangeness. It was an interesting timing. She would talk about this all the time. And then that's when I started seeing stuff. I think I saw 4 UAPs the week that I took her to the shrink, after I convinced her she was crazy. And it was a paradigm shift for me. and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to help her because her experiences were not positive at all. They were really fucked up. And it was a really bad place to be as a man where you can't help your woman. Like, anyways, yeah, that's, what was I talking about? Anyway, Hilary Clinton asked about UAPs. It's interesting, but I'm very skeptical of this, of honest disclosure. I think it's going to be a drip drip. That's how it's going to go. But on another topic, you know, there's the phenomenon is getting to the point where you can't really hide it anymore. There's the mystery drones. I'm obsessed with them. They seem to be everywhere. Somebody did a video in Jersey. I'm gonna start looking at those UFO reports from the National UFO Report. I don't remember the place. This is Richard Dolan, who I had an interview with in my show. Great, you know, great guy. We had the privilege of talking to Richard Dolan. It was my first interview, and I respect him a lot. And he said, dude, you gotta go look at these reports every now and then, and you'll see some patterns and amazing stuff. And I love patterns. And I'm okay with the mystery. A lot of people get very frustrated with disclosure. I'm over disclosure, man. I think we've had it. And honestly, I want to talk about the war so much right now, but my show's about UFOs and UAPs, so I'm not going to do that. But it's interesting timing when there's a flap and there's a lot going on. What does that say? Is this almost like entertainment, or is it like something else? And is the real reason for disclosure? I've always thought about this. You have religion, you have Christianity, prayers. What if they disclose and, you know, you can literally have contact with an HI if you do some weird stuff, like let's just say occult rituals and stuff like that, for example, and you get power. Kind of like fake power, I think, because I'm not comfortable with some of my precious Lord of the Rings kind of vibe, you know? I wouldn't feel right about that. I've had opportunities in my life for power. One of them was not too long ago. And it wasn't mine, so I felt like it didn't feel right. And then I learned some stuff. Like, I don't really care that much about power. So as long as I can, you know, get by and provide for my family, that's good enough for me. And if the power comes from myself in my way, not from anybody else, yes, let's go. But anyway, that's a whole other situation. I don't want to get into it right now. Maybe one day I will, because it's really interesting. Some crazy stuff. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. You guys have a good day.